the best show for Chicago sports.
Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. On today's episode, got exciting news on the Bears defensive front. Also got a couple of concerns. And on top of it all, I'm here to try to calm some of the waters around Ben Johnson and this Chicago Bears team. We're going to break all of that down and more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Big shout out to you guys for tuning in and showing love as always, man.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Let's talk about this. As we do have the news on Kyler Gordon that he is healthy and back at practice. 21-day window activated. We'll see when he's up into game shape and different things like that. But, you know, very good to hear that on the Kyler Gordon front. I think that's going to be something that is big for this Bears team moving forward. But I feel like this is a week where we need to have a conversation. And we'll talk more about the Kyler Gordon update as well. But where we need to have a conversation to calm some of the Bears fans who are continuing to wait for the bottom to fall out of this thing. And maybe you'll come on here and you'll say, oh, Pat, you're ever the optimist. You want to see this team do well. So you're the one who's going to be optimistic no matter what. And you're going to feel like the Bears. It's not that. I just want to ask you what you have watched this season. And what about that leads you to believe that it's going to change? When Ben Johnson came into this season, did he not say, you know, the beginning of this season is going to be rough? That does not change the expectation on what this season is supposed to be. But we do know that it's going to be a little bit rocky to start because guys are figuring things out. Did he not talk about that? How'd the season start? First quarter of the season, you're 2-2. You had 2 games that you were like, ugh, sweet Jesus. Then you had 2 games on the other side of that where you're like, oh, okay, back to 2-2. Feeling good about ourselves. We're back to 500. We're trying to figure some things out. One of those games in which you went in there and you absolutely destroyed a Dallas team that everybody that week was picking to beat you. Fast forward a little bit. Next 4 games that came along. Ben Johnson said, you know what? We're figuring some things out. We're starting to get some things under our belt. But we got this bye week coming up here. We got to play this game versus the Raiders. Then we got the bye week. And going into the bye, we may have to make some changes. Depending on what this season is, going into the bye, we may have to make some changes. You play that Raiders game, you find a way to win, you get to 3-2, you're heading into the bye feeling good, but some changes need to be made. At halftime of that game, changes were made. What am I talking about changes? Your offensive line wasn't doing enough for you, especially from the left tackle spot. There was pressure in the face of your quarterback from the left side all day until you swapped in a guy like Theo Benedict, who came into that game, played really well, found a way to get some advantages on Max Crosby. And then all of a sudden you're sitting there talking about, oh, man, we got a nice little left tackle possibly heading into this next game. Ben Johnson told you the truth then. You move forward. I want to fast forward to, I believe this was that Ravens game, where after that Ravens game, Ben Johnson and the entire offensive staff said, I don't know what the issues with the pre-snap penalties are. I don't know what the issues are at this point. I know the coaches are coaching it, and the players have to do something about it. But I'll tell you what, we're going into this week doing some unorthodox things. We're going into this week doing some different things in practice, and I guarantee that we get these things figured out. Since then, the Chicago Bears over the last 3 games have been really, really good at avoiding pre-snap penalties. Couple have popped up here and there, couple false starts and things like that. Those happen sometimes. But have been really, really good compared to where we were at avoiding the pre-snap penalties. And now as we head through this next stretch where, listen, we know what the combined record is. We've heard it from everybody. The Bears can only beat the teams that are on their schedule. But the stretch where you've got the Steelers, the Eagles, the Packers, the Browns, the Packers, the 49ers, and the Lions, all of a sudden, all I see is people who, even though Ben Johnson has told you the truth the entire time, even though Ben Johnson has told you how the process is going to go the entire time, now's the time where people are like, hey, listen, I don't know if we can find 3 wins. Look, Pat, I get the optimism, but I'll be honest with you. I don't know if we can beat the Packers. I don't know if we are the best team in the division. And that's why I'm here to say it is time to trust what Ben Johnson is doing, because you can clearly see it working, clearly see it progressing. And shout out to Ted in the comments. I believe that's the name that's on the screen. It's a little further away now. There we go. Gotta make that a little bigger so I can see it. Yeah, shout out to Ted. He said we're going to be playing our best football by December. You're still trending towards that. Oh, by the way, Jalen Johnson, designated to return. You're getting back one of the top cornerbacks in football. Oh, by the way, today, Kyler Gordon, designated to return. You're getting back one of the best slot corners in football, adding that into a system that currently C.J. Gardner-Johnson is dominating in. Now you're going to have C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Jaquan Brisker, and Kyler Gordon, all guys who can play the line, consistent pressure that can be added to a defensive line that is struggling. But you're still waiting for the shoe to fall. So many Bears fans. And I get it. It's because of history. I get it. It's because of what you saw for years in this town. But I keep telling y'all, this is different. And it is not Matt Nagy. And you can see it in the first year. This is Ben Johnson's scheme that he knows how to call, that he knows how to get through to guys. The guys are understanding with a young quarterback that has talent. This is not Matt Nagy calling Andy Reid's scheme with Mitch Trubisky. I understand what we've been through as Bears fans. But there's no way you sit here today, 7-3 in the division, and don't say this doesn't feel different. Oh, by the way, with some massive questions around the NFC North, I get it. We want to feel like, oh, we've got all the answers and we're the best no matter what everybody else does. And even though they're still the best in the division, we're just going to be better players. No. We are not the only people in this division that have some problems, that have some questions. Every time I look at the Green Bay Packers right now, you know what I see when teams go up and play them? And it doesn't mean that they're losing these games, although they are losing some of them. But you know what was figured out in that Panthers game that they did lose? You know, if we run right at Micah Parsons, he's not as impactful. You know, if we give the football to our running backs, by the way, I believe second best rushing attack in football, and we run directly at Micah Parsons, which I would assume is what we're going to do this week versus TJ Watt, he's not as impactful. Doesn't mean that the Packers are a god-awful team and they're going to fall off a cliff and suck the rest of the way. I'm not saying that. Give respect to the opponent. I think they are a solid team. I think they're a team that can be beat, but that's not how people want to talk about them in the national media. That's not how people want to talk about them in the local media. We're waiting for the other shoe to fall, and sometimes the shoe just don't fall. And I'm going to be honest with you. You're in a situation right now where it doesn't feel like the shoe is going to fall. Oh, but you're going to play tougher teams and you're not going to be able to come from behind in those situations. I agree with that as well. Not sitting here telling you everything on the Chicago Bears is perfect. But the biggest issue we've had over the last 2 weeks, and the tape says it, is not Caleb Williams' overthrows. That changes the game. It's not Caleb being off target that changes the game. It's your wide receivers who you've seen make play after play all season not catching the football in great situations. It's your defensive line not getting enough pressure and you not having corners that can cover. Again, you're heading into the second half of this season, the tail end of this season, December in this season, with now an opportunity to get two of the best corners in football back at their position. Ben Johnson has told you what this season was going to be, and either because you expected 15-2, or because you expected 1-16, you can't live in a world where this Bears team is legit. This Bears team is for real. This 7-3 is honest. And you know why? Because every time after the Bears go out and beat a team, you listen to the national media and say, oh, well, that team wasn't as good as we thought they were. The Commanders were when we played them. The Commanders were when we played them. They were a top team. They were at full strength, but we played them. It was the NFC Championship team. You beat them. Then they start getting banged up through the season. The season doesn't go the way you go, and everybody goes, well, they weren't as good as we thought they were. No, they got hurt. The Cowboys were eviscerating teams before and after, putting up massive points. Bears beat them. Oh, well, you know, anybody can put that up on that defense. No, you can't. So, like, yes, in hindsight, when you look back, yeah, the team's records are what, 26% on the season? But in hindsight, the teams that you're trying to beat have terrible losses. Your losses at a minimum are to the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions, two teams that you plan on being in the playoffs. You got to figure it out. But you look around the division, there's some bad losses here. You look around the division, the Packers lost to the Panthers. The Packers lost to the Browns. Like, you're in a position right now where I feel like mentally we look at teams around the league and just go, oh my goodness, they've got a gauntlet, so you got to hold on to that. And yet, it wasn't that. The teams that are behind you, by the way, behind you, have lost to worse teams than you have played. So that to me is like, when Ben Johnson tells you this stuff, when he tells you, hey, we're moving in the right direction. Hey, we're developing this and it's going to be a process. Take him at his word. The process is continuing. It doesn't stop. He's continuing to build this program up. He's continuing to develop the quarterback that we needed developed. He told you you're going to be playing your best football by December. Hey, Bears fans, might be playing your best football by December. Oh, by the way, the month where you play your biggest rival. So for me, when I look at this situation that the Bears are in right now, where I look at the development, there were people that didn't think we get 7 wins. I saw 4 wins. Because remember, at the start of the season, strength of schedule, we came in with what? The second hardest schedule in football? Has it played out that way? No. But you came in with the second hardest schedule in football. Remember that? Remember, there were people telling you we weren't going to win 3 games. We weren't going to win 5 games. We had 7. We got 8 games to go. And you did that without Jalen Johnson. And you did that mostly without TJ Edwards in a large part. And you did that without Kyler Gordon. What happens when you get them back? What does this team become? It's why I said a few weeks ago. This Bears team could be a team that other teams may not want to see in the playoffs. Because guess what? Without all those big names that I just said, Ben Johnson has not changed. Ben Johnson's approach has not changed. Ben Johnson's development has not changed. The team getting better has not changed. Now add in a top 2 DB in football. Add in a top 2 slot corner. What's going to happen? Chicago Bears are 7-1 in their last 8 games. The Scrolls, good comment. He said the Bears are the Commanders of 2025. You know what happened to the 2026 Commanders? They got banged up. Or I guess you meant 2024 to 2020. I know what you meant. Their quarterback got hurt. Their entire defensive line got hurt. Their entire DB unit got hurt. Their running backs are dead. At a certain point, you run out of talent. We're winning right now doing what the Washington Commanders, some of what, are dealing with right now. You've got a ton of opportunity here to continue to improve the rest of the way. And I don't think it's going to stop now that Ben Johnson goes, woo, we did it. Lock him down. Season's over, baby. 7-10. We are 7-3. Lock it in. We're good. We're done playing football the rest of the way. Looking ahead at this week, I think this week is massive, massive for the Chicago Bears. You got a Steelers unit coming up that is banged up. I would probably assume, if you're a Bears fan, you could probably assume that Aaron Rodgers is going to play. And looking at the Bears injury report right now, a lot of guys banged up on this injury report. By the way, if you haven't done so, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. You got now listen, we know how the Wednesday injury report is, right? We see a bunch of dudes that are DNP. Thursday comes out and all of a sudden everybody's healthy. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that this is, you know, the end all be all for what the injury report is. But you start off this injury report banged up again. Jaquan Brister, shoulder. Kevin Byard, he was DNP. He was getting rest. Tremaine Edmonds, DNP with a groin. That's something to keep an eye on, because if you don't have a linebacking crew, this game could get very ugly. TJ Edwards, hand and hamstring, DNP. The hamstring is really what's keeping him out. Remember, he had surgery on that hand, but the hamstring is what's holding him out. They expect him to play with a club on that hand. Grady Jarrett was DNP with rest. Noah Sewell, DNP with an elbow. You're running out of linebackers quick. Yeah, I mean, you're running out of linebackers quick. Drew Dahlman was limited with a knee. Kyler Gordon, who was upgraded today, limited with a knee, calf. Travis Homer, limited with a knee. Jalen Johnson, limited with a groin. Tyreek Stevenson, limited with a hip and calf. DeAndre Swift, limited with a hip. Darnell Wright, limited with a pectoral. Again, this is the Wednesday injury report. We've seen kind of how this changes throughout the week. But if that is the case, I know a lot of people are. Listen, I do feel like the Bears are going to win this game. I will live in a world. I get it. I just had this whole rant on trust in Ben. Don't worry about it. I live in a world where Aaron Rodgers still has our number until he doesn't. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of one of those ones. That's kind of one of those to me. Like Aaron Rodgers can go out there and pick this unit apart. As it stands, even with them being old, we can't get pressure on the quarterback. The defensive line is an issue. I would love to see CJ Gardner-Johnson have a big day versus Aaron Rodgers in this. But there's you know, if Aaron does play, the injury is in his non-throwing hand. Essentially, the concern is if he does get hit, can he fall? You have to be able to fall in the NFL. Otherwise, you end up getting concussions and things like that. They're trying to prepare for the playoffs as a whole. The biggest question is if he gets hit, can he fall on that wrist and not injure it more and miss more time in the season? Because right now it does not need surgery. So I think that's something to truly keep an eye on right now, if he is going to play or not. I would expect that he's going to play, but we'll see kind of how that ends up being. But even so, I said this the other day, and I truly believe this. This is a season-defining moment in my mind for Ben Johnson. This is a season-defining moment in my mind for the Bears. And I do think that the Bears get a win. But the one thing that I can truly say, even with all the wins that we've racked up, and I do feel good about this moving forward here, we have not beat great coaching staffs as of yet. And I think that's something that's under-talked about. You got to find a way to beat great coaching staffs. And I know a lot of people look at Mike Tomlin and they're like, Tomlin's not even good. Why are we worried about him? Yada, da, da. Mike Tomlin, pretty good coach. You don't stay somewhere that long and you're not a good coach. I would say that right now you are 1 and 3 versus great coaching staffs. I would say 1 and 3 versus great coaching staffs. Right now, you lost to the Lions, you lost to the Vikings week 1, you lost to the Ravens, and then you just beat the Vikings. That's where this is going to get interesting. This, to me, finishing out the season is, okay, now where do you stand as a head coach in this league? I think he's great. Clearly, I keep coming on here every day and talking about how I think he changes so much. But the coaching staffs you play from here on out, top tier, outside of the Browns. And I think that makes a difference. Can you win the chess match? Can you be smarter in the chess match? Can you make the move that checkmates a really good coaching staff? We've seen Ben Johnson do that this year. We've seen him go out there and throw a challenge flag at a very key moment, find a way to win that game. We've seen him go out there and have a play call that he was hunting for versus the Bengals, right? He was hunting for that coverage all day, got the coverage, and was able to deliver it. Right? Found that play call, boom, let's go. We've been looking for this all day, touchdown, game winner, here we go. It just so happened that it was in that moment in the game. But you got the Steelers coaching staff, you got the Eagles coaching staff, you got the Packers coaching staff, you got the Niners coaching staff, you got the Lions coaching staff to finish out this season. Now is the time where I think Ben Johnson gets his biggest test. Now is the time where I think Ben Johnson gets to see his biggest opponents. And it started off with this staff you just played. You beat the Vikings, right? But you also lost to them in the beginning of the season. So it's a give and take. That's a 1-on-1 situation. If you can find a way to get 3 more wins in this, because here's the thing when it comes down to it. This point in the season, everybody's banged up. The Eagles a little more healthier than most, but for the most part, everybody is banged up. So the chess to me is a heck of a lot more at this point in the season. This is where you find out where your best head coaches are. This is where you find out, okay, this guy is a top guy here and, you know, he's here, but he's still learning some things. I would be very intrigued if Ben Johnson can find a way to get those 4 wins. I think there are 4 wins here. Talent-wise, play-wise, I think you can split with the Packers. I think you can beat the, I almost said the Eagles. I do not think you can beat the Eagles. I think you can beat the Steelers this week. I think you got the Browns, and I'll be honest with you, I think going toe-to-toe with that 49ers team is very good. Very good. But I'm going to continue to believe Ben. I'm going to continue to believe that we're going to be playing our best football by the time we get to December 28th, heading into a playoff berth. And that by the time we get into that game, we're going to be rolling. So for me, like I do see 4 wins here the final way, but I think that you have to go in there and find a way, especially this Packers one. Like the biggest thing with where we match up with the Packers here is I think you've got the answers on Micah Parsons. I think you've got the answers on you know, how to attack that Packers defense. Offensively, I mean, you're probably gonna have to win a shootout, I would assume. And well, Jalen's back, maybe not. Jalen's back, you might not have to win a shootout. You might be set. But I think you've got the answers on how to attack that Packers defense. But Matt LaFleur can scheme a heck of a game. And I can't take that away from him. I still have him as the best play caller. I still have him as the best coach in this NFC North. And so I think beating him twice is incredibly difficult. But that's where the matchup comes in. That's where the chess comes in. That's where I want to see, okay, Ben, LaFleur is going to attack our defense in this way. What do you got for this Packer defense? And I think you have to talk about that. Listen, the Eagles is going to be, you find a way to get the Eagles. Oh, we're flying high, baby. You find a way to beat the Eagles. We're living in a completely different world. Now I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, 15 wins. Let's go, baby. 15 wins. Here we go. But I just think there's so much good coaching to finish this out that's going to be a massive conversation by the end of the season. I think it's truly going to tell us where Ben Johnson is at in his coaching development. And I love it, man. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love what we've seen out of Coach Johnson this year. I think it's time for people to get on board with what Coach Johnson is doing this year. And I think that you got to trust it. I get it. You want to go through and you want to look at the games. It's not what you were saying. I did all the talking. It's not what everyone was saying during the games. I covered these games week by week. You know what they said when we went in and we played the Cowboys? I don't think the Bears have the firepower to put that Cowboys team away. They did it. We were supposed to beat the Raiders. We did. You know what they said versus the Commanders? Jaden's coming back. Jaden's going to have the answer for you. You're not going to be able to slow Jaden down. You weren't, but you were able to slow everybody else down. Oh, by the way, Caleb had the answer for them. Going into that Bengals game, I don't know. I don't think that you can win a shootout. I don't think that you can win a shootout with this Bengals team. You're going to have to put up 40. You almost put up 50. I feel like that first game's going to go, or that second game versus the Vikings is going to go just like the first one. Kind of did, except you won. Like, that's the thing for me when I look at this. And every time we go into these games, it's, I don't believe in them. I don't know. I don't trust this team. I don't see it. And then the Bears come out with a win, and then it goes, we kind of knew that was going to be the likelihood of it. No. That's not what you said. I saw you. That's not what you said. I can see you, see me, see you. I feel like we're going into this game, if we're being honest, and this Steeler game, and it's going to be a tough one. I do think the Chicago Bears find a way to get a win. We'll talk more about that as we get into this tomorrow. You got to gauntlet the rest of the way. Let's see how Ben Johnson shapes all of this out. King Booker World said, don't forget how they're going to stop the Dallas offense. I get to some of y'all comments here in a second. I've been talking a lot. Don't forget how they're going to stop the Dallas offense. Yeah, that is what they said. That's facts. Having played no superstars in the secondary. Oh, okay. I don't, dude. All right. I give you that. We doing better than you. Hey, everybody that lost to the Panthers, drop a go pack go. Come on, dog. What are we talking about right now? Like, hey, if you beat the Dallas Cowboys this year, drop a bear down in the chat. Shout out to Jimmy in the chat. If you beat the Dallas Cowboys this year, drop a bear down in the chat. Come on, dog. It's okay. Y'all having a little bit of a bumpy season. You're having a little bit of a bumpy season. I tell you what. You better be lucky we took Jackson Dart out for you. You better be lucky we took Jackson Dart out for you. I tell you that right now. Because Jackson Dart would have beat y'all. Jackson Dart would have cooked y'all. Y'all would have been in rough shape if Jackson Dart was playing. You better be lucky C.J. Gardner-Johnson helped your boys out. Panthers are above 500. Yeah, if I got to play 2 games against the Atlanta Hawks or Atlanta Falcons, I'd be above 500 too. Shout out to you, dog. Shout out to you, man. Keep your delusions alive. I love it. Who else up in this mug? Commanders were over 500 when we beat them, 100%. That's what I mean. Mudge just be talking sometimes. They struggled against a third string QB. That's facts. Pat, have you seen Green Bay's remaining games? Yeah, listen, I mean, like us and Green Bay have the toughest schedule. They got the Vikings, they got the Lions, they got the Broncos, they got the Ravens, they got the Vikings, they got us twice. Like it's a tough schedule. Yeah, make no mistake about it. If they get through their final gauntlet and they beat it, this truly is to finish out the season, may the best man win. It truly is to finish out the season, may the best man win. Chef Mac, bro, the Panthers got a better record than KC, yeah? KC, I don't know what's happened to Kansas City, bro. I don't know what's happened to Kansas City. And yes, I do. I'm not going to say that. I know exactly what would happen to Kansas City. I know exactly what's happened to Kansas City. At a certain point, you need wide receivers. At a certain point, Pat Mahomes can be as amazing as he want to be. But if Muggs can't catch the ball, it don't matter. And at a certain point, you need wide receivers. You know what I mean? Like that's they delivering the football. Mahomes getting the ball there. Bink. Oh, well, there it goes. Like it's I can't sit here and say, you know, drop passes for Caleb and not look at what's happening in KC and going, yeah, there's a lot of freaking drop passes over there. But hey, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love as always, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. If you have not subscribed, man, we do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. We will be live for the Chicago Bulls game tonight. So tune in with us doing a live call of the Chicago Bulls game here and over on Playback. If you haven't joined us on Playback, that's where we do all of our live calls for the Bulls games. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bird down, one love. And peace.
Red Nation, are we here? The best show for Chicago sports. Oh my!